Hello, this is Heather with Real Estate Concierges. Welcome to a lesson on how to fill in a mortgage calculator. So we're going to go over here to our Zillow mortgage calculator. There are so many of these on the web. I find this one to be very helpful. Because essentially you want to know like the whole meat and potatoes. Mortgage calculators can be very, very deceiving because they don't paint the whole picture, especially in the state of Texas where we have really high tax rates that will definitely affect your payment. So we want to make sure to just teach you guys the real deal of what it looks like with buying real estate in North Texas. So in this mortgage calculator, I just clicked on Zillow.com and then I clicked over here to mortgages. And then I just clicked on mortgage calculator right here. And then after it pulls this mortgage calculator up, it kind of gives you the truncated version. So I always click on this right here, advanced. And then I start filling in my information. So I like to work in ranges. I'm a big believer in building a plan when purchasing real estate and knowing kind of like what's the amount that we would be on our lowest end of the budget, what's kind of like the, middle of the road, and then what's the high end, like where we could do it, but hey, we might not sleep so great at night. And we have to hope things don't go wrong, which is something we never, ever is a place we want to get to. We always want to keep on the lower end of that. So, but working in that range helps us understand that range. And when we do our orientations, we always dig much deeper in this. It's quite an integral understanding of math and finance and compounding and, how to budget for something that could potentially take you 30 years to pay off. Trust me, it's a lot more than just punching some numbers in on this mortgage calculator. But this is a tool we use to begin to investigate that discovery process. Okay, so here we go. We're going to put in, let's say our home price is $250,000. And then our down payment, we can do a percent here, or we can do a number here. Oops. And so it doesn't matter what you want to do. If you want to do 20% down, it'll recalculate it for you. Or if you have like an actual number, remember, if you put that magic 20% number down, you won't have something called PMI. But if you put less than that down, if you'll notice over here on this circle, PMI is going to pop up on anything less than 20% down. Now, the good news with conventional financing is that goes away after, 20% is achieved from the amortization schedule, which you'll find here if you click on this puppy. And again, we can teach you guys how to read this amortization schedule and when we think that 20% achievement is going to occur. But just FYI, when you put less than 20% down, especially on this mortgage calculator, you're always going to have a PMI, private mortgage insurance. Okay, so in this example, let's do 10% down. Okay. That's going to be about $25,000, right at 10% for $250,000. And then our interest rate, we always like to be conservative on interest rates. Okay, there's a lot of variations of what means your final interest rate is going to be. Your debt to income ratio, the type of financing that you get. It could be your credit score. It could be the time, like it's January right now. We might close in June. Most purchases are an average of 4 to 6 months from initial discovery phase to the actual close date. So there could be some volatility in the market there as well. So we always like to plan for the worst case, and then we prepare for the worst, and then we basically hope for the best. And that's always how we help our clients get their proper and clear expectations set. So in this case, and in this market, for conventional financing, owner-occupied property, 4.5% would pretty much be kind of the max I can see right now. And I might find that information out by talking to my lender and then adding like 1/4 of a point or 1/2 a point to it. And then again, I can start manipulating things as I go, and look at what, okay, if 1567, just in this quick example, is my payment, or actually, let me look at my principal and interest payment would be a better case study here. $1,140. If I change my interest rate to 4.25, 1140 now goes to 1107. That's about $34, $33 difference. So I like to do that little exercise too, because a lot of times people get really caught up on interest rates. And for $30 a month, $35 a month, we can maybe find that in another way, right? $35 a month times 12 is about $420 a year. Maybe we can control our insurance premium for our homeowners insurance. Maybe we can, take some of our money that we were going to pay for closing costs, but maybe we were able to negotiate that. Now we can pay off our car or a credit card. Or maybe we could look at our utility bills and see, could we squeeze some money out of that? Or do I really need cable? Could I use Hulu? Those are some questions we really like to investigate and help people think about money and how it all works out with this little pie differently. All right, so 4.5% today, in today's world, January in 2016, that should do it for most owner-occupied conventional financing. Loan terms, you can change this if you want to, but since interest rates are still their lowest in 30 years, I always suggest putting a 30-year term on there, and then we can make adjustments as needed. Remember, almost every loan today does not have a prepayment penalty. So that means if you pay off your loan early, it's not going to cost you more money. Now, if you went with a shorter term, like a 15-year note, your interest rate would be lower. But unless you're absolutely sure we have a plan to achieve that, I never want to set our clients up for what that looks like. Just for argument's sake, if I were to cut this term in half, it doesn't necessarily make your payment go in half. Let's see what that looks like. Or I'm sorry, make your payment go twice as much. Let's see what that looks like. Our PMI is 1140, and now it's going to jump to 1721, as you can see right down here. So 1140 to 1721, that's about $300 roughly. So, and the reason is because your principal payment doubles, essentially. Okay, so let's go back to our 15-year note here. I'm sorry, our 30-year note, interest amortization term. And if you have any questions about what these mean, you can click on these little questions and they will tell you the definition. So we're always going to include this right here, include insurance and taxes. Because like I said, in the state of Texas, it can be very expensive, and I'll show you how. So the property tax, again, you can put in the dollar amount or the percent. I always like to put in the percent because, again, I said I like to be conservative. And based on most counties, cities, school districts, water municipality districts, colleges, hospitals, all the kind of random property tax and variations we have in pretty much every county and organization, or like the way that they all work together here in the DFW area, about 2.5 is a good average. Some combinations you might see as low as like 2.1. Others you might see as high as like 3.1. It will fluctuate, it will change, but I like to just kind of go with this average. This pretty much covers most everything. And another reason why I like to use the percentage, which is a percentage of this purchase price here. The reason is because even though when we purchase the price, the tax rate in the appraisal value might not match the purchase price because Texas is a non-disclosure state and the taxing entities usually don't know what we actually paid for the property exactly. However, in a year or 2 or 3, it could catch up. It probably will. So I just want to prepare for worst case. That's why we're doing this. I don't like people to be surprised by another $1,000 a year in taxes if this number goes up. So anyway, that calculates that, okay? But for argument's sake, you could go to the tax rolls and you could see what the appraisal amount is, and you could put that number here, and then that would adjust this percentage based on the number of taxes actually paid. Okay, and then the next one you're going to do is your homeowner's insurance. So this calculation is kind of hard to do. It also depends on a variety of things. Homeowners insurance, which again, Zillow describes it as this, commonly known as hazard insurance. Most lenders require insurance to provide damage protection for your home and personal property from a variety of events, including fire, lightning, burglary, vandalism, storms, explosions, and more. All homeowners insurance policies contain personal liability coverage, which protects against lawsuits involving injuries that occur on and off your property. So that is going to be required for every lender that loans you money on your house asset. When you own a property in cash, you don't necessarily have to have homeowners insurance, but unless you have a lot of properties to spread the risk over, it's always advisable. At any rate, if it's new construction, that number is going to be pretty low. And honestly, at $250,000, it probably would end up at $1,800. But if it's older construction, maybe. Again, it's really hard to ascertain how much that's going to be. It depends on so many things, but we always have our clients get 3 quotes for insurance, and we always guide that and help lead that. And it's quite eye-opening when they see how varied the quotes can be. But anyway, I use like a little derivative of kind of like 0.0. Let me show you. 250,000.006. Okay, is about $1,500 a year. So if I take the purchase price times 0.006, that gives me $1,500 for the year. So again, that is probably high. However, I'm conservative. I always want to plan for high, and then we can adjust down. So again, it's just important. It's smart to be over kind of reactive on some of these numbers. That helps us build our range. And then our homeowners dues is anywhere kind of in the Collin County area or new construction where you don't live in a gated community or on a golf course. If you just have normal community of things like a pool and a walking trail and maybe a couple of other things like maybe a basketball court or a playground, typically like $50 a month or like $600 a year should pretty much cover you in most cases. If you're looking at townhomes and condos, that is absolutely another story, because anytime you share a wall, you have a very high or higher chance of having HOA dues that are much higher, but you would have homeowners insurance dues that are much lower. So it's never offsetting fully. This number, the homeowners dues, is always going to be higher for townhomes and condos, like much higher, maybe $200, $300, $400, even $500 a month. And then your homeowner's insurance dues might be $600 a year. But this number is always going to precipitously outweigh this number. Okay, so then that's what my payment looks like. And I'm looking at like $1,946. So that's a good starting place. And then in our orientation, we're going to begin to make ranges on this number. And we're going to begin to look at amortization tables, payoff schedules, timelines of how long you want to hold, what's the exit strategy, do we want to resell our property, or do we want to turn it into a rental property? And Real Estate Concierges is here to help you. Here's a look at our new cool website. And we're going to help you get through all of that and help you for the life of the time you own the home. We try to simplify it, but also understand the complexity that goes on behind the scenes of buying and selling real estate and making awesome real estate decisions. So we hope this helped you get a basic understanding of the mortgage calculator. And thank you for listening. You have a just wonderful, awesome, fantastic day.